What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Five-Star Stylist. My name is Robert Alexander, and I'm a hairstylist, wig maker, and extensions specialist with over 16 years of experience. This is the podcast where mistakes become mentorship. And what I mean by that is the goal is not to be perfect, it's to learn from every misstep, mistake, error, problem, issue in business. And I find that that is what makes me most excited about entrepreneurship, being able to correct your issues when they come about, because there is no one in business who does everything perfectly. Let's just be honest. um this week I want to talk about a very recent experience where I was taken out of my comfort zone by a brand new client, beautiful client who wanted a blonde wig. And if you go through specifically my Instagram, that is like the archive of everything I've ever done. And sometimes I'll go so far back that I'll think like, wow, when did I learn how to do that? Um Everything is not like a bicycle. Sometimes, when you don't use it, you do lose it. That being said, I have gorgeous videos of blonde wigs that I've done when I was really in my blonde bag a few years back. And this client came and she said, I want this. I've seen you do it. I know you can, and I want it. And I'm like, well, yes, I can. And afterwards, I thought to myself, why did I say yes to this? I haven't done this in so long. Do I even know how to do this? Every time I work with blonde hair, it stresses me out. And that was my first thought. My second thought was, you're already committed, so go in and do your very best. This episode is actually going to be a two-part because I also want to talk about why it's important to rest. Um, I think societally we are in such a hustle culture, and especially if you're from Detroit, as the saying goes, Detroit hustles hard. Um, so it's like doubly enforced here. That being said, um, I've been going hard. I have goals. I have goals that constantly grow as I do, and I just want to continuously evolve and be better. And sometimes the one thing that I tend to neglect is rest. Knowing I know better, knowing that my best work comes from a rested Robert. That being said, I've been burning the candle at both ends, going hard, using caffeine to compensate for my lack of rest. And we all know how that story goes. Eventually, you hit a wall, eventually, you crash. And so, in going back to the moment though that I said, yes, I'm going to do this blonde wig, I accept the challenge, I go for it, I do the wig, and in my eyes, it looks great. It's beautiful. I'm just happy that I got a finished product. And that just speaks to how your standard changes based on where you are in rest, where you are in being able to focus on your craft. As an exhausted person, I was just happy that I could produce a finished product. And I do the wig. She comes in. I send her pictures of it first. She comes in, and I record the video for content, of course, with her permission, of course. And as I watched it back, I was thinking to myself, I don't know, something about this just doesn't feel right. I'm not in love. And I oftentimes say, if I don't love it, my clients won't. I am the biggest nitpicker. Um, I'm obsessed with making things the best that I can make them. And that being said, I was just thinking, I don't know. And even if she did love it, I just knew in the back of my mind. Long story short, she goes ahead and sends me a message saying, hey, Robert, I really like the wig. However, there are some things that I would like corrected. And if I'm gonna just be fully transparent with you, because that's the point of this podcast, with blonde hair, of course, you have to create a root. And so I created a root, but I didn't take it all the way down to the root because I didn't want the knots to be dark as the rooted part, if that makes any sense to you. And so there was kind of like this light halo around the hairline that sort of disconnected it from her. And I didn't realize it at the time, but when she said it, I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely happening there. So fast forward, I message her and I say, okay, thank you so much for letting me know, and I tell her like next availability that I can get her, which just so happens to be like the very next day. And I love when things work out that way, especially as a stylist who's never available. I never want to say sorry, I can't help you. Good luck. So, that being said, I get her in and I just express back to her, okay, you said this, this, and this are what you don't like about the wig. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna correct it. Also worth noting, the weekend prior, I slept. I stayed in the house and I slept. And then I went and got a pedicure and a 90-minute massage, and then I went back home and then I slept some more. And I didn't feel guilty. I didn't say, what's wrong with you? Why are you sleeping so much? I said, if I'm sleeping this much, it's because I need the rest. After that is when she and I communicated about the wig, and she came back in. And when I saw it, first of all, I thanked her for the opportunity, because some people would not give you that opportunity. They would just say, well, you know what? He got me. He tricked me. Whatever the case, it's a wild world in the hair industry, and sometimes people are not so gracious. So immediately I thanked her for the opportunity to make a correction, and I told her I would have it ready for her by the next day. I wanted to knock it out. I wanted to continue to sleep well, and I wanted to knock my cue out, because I sleep best when I don't have a crap ton of things that I need to do. I go in, I redo the root, I lock in, I changed the parting because there was something showing there that she didn't like, smooth that out, and also, even though it's a blonde wig, I use black caps. That's the color that the caps come. And she had a side part, and you could see the black cap, and I was like, okay, we got to fix this too. I'm pretty sure I did this on live, so if you saw my live, comment below. But I add hair there to cover that piece, and if I have pictures, I'll insert them right here. I don't want to post her, but I do want to just show you guys the wig. I want to be fully transparent. Um, but once I got to get my hands on this wig the second time, that's when I was able to give it my best as a rested, clear-headed artist. I got to go in and correct what needed to be corrected to give her what I aspire to, which is perfection. um, so that being said, I sent her the videos, ample videos at different angles, just to really showcase to her that what she saw as an issue had been truly corrected, not band-aided, not patched, but truly corrected. And she came in and she grabbed the wig, and I said, thank you again for giving me the opportunity. Um, and a couple of days later, she sent me a picture with the wig on. She's like, she's perfect. And honestly, she was. Honestly, she was. And I was just so grateful that I got the opportunity to correct that. That being said, what I want to tell you guys is that, again, in no business are we always going to get it right. In no business are we always going to be perfect. In no business are we always going to be well rested and always taking care of every single part of our lives. That being said, I don't get an excuse because I haven't gotten sleep. I'm still charging my price. I still have a brand. My brand still has a standard. And I still aspire to be a 5-star stylist at all times. So that being said, it was important to me that my business reflected that. And with her coming in and allowing me to do that, I got that opportunity. So what I want to say is that it takes a certain level of humility as a professional to understand that it's okay. It's not a mark against you. It's not a scolding. It's just simply, we're not always going to get it right, but we can utilize that mistake and allow it to be mentorship for us as long as we remain open. And that's what I was really grateful for. Um, that being said, I really aspire to turning a negative into a positive, even though if I have your ear for just a second, I don't believe that there's any such thing as a bad thing. Everything is good. Everything is good because either it teaches you or it affirms you. It either teaches you what you could do better or it affirms that you're doing an amazing job. Either way, you get to grow. And so, as much as I am very proud of the business that I've built and the brand that I've established and the online presence that I have, there's still room to grow. There are still stylists that I look up to and aspire to be like. And thankfully, I took the challenge of this blonde wig after years of not doing blonde wigs to expose and shine light on where I can be better. And because she was gracious enough to bring the wig back and let me work on it again, I made a discovery. Had a realization about doing blonde wigs that makes it so much easier. So much so that I want to drop a whole line of blonde wigs in celebration of what I've discovered. So, that being said, um, this is the energy that I try to operate from. And this is the energy that I try to teach my mentees and my community, which is called the 5 Star Stylist, which is going to be linked in the description below. Because I think it's important that we really align with people who think like us or align with people who think the way that we aspire to think like. And so I just want to create a safe space in our industry to say that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to not be the stylist on Instagram with 200,000 followers and is perfect and all of those things. I want to bridge the gap between where you are and who you aspire to be in the future, because I just think that that's a better way to manifest. That being said, being a 5 star stylist is not about perfection, but it's about correction when and where it applies. I hope that you guys really got something valuable from this episode. As always, I'm happy to hear both your criticisms and what you loved most about this episode, because that level of humility is the 5 star standard. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, keep it 5 stars, and I'll see you next week.